Hey, babe.
What?
What's for dinner?
Seems like my entire life now revolves around that one question. Anyway, welcome to an episode of How to Food, hopefully the first in a series of other cooking videos that I'm going to do where I take on dishes from all over the world and demystify them and make them accessible to you and hopefully learn some great cooking skills along the way. It is now March, which means St. Patrick's Day, which means one of two things. Typically we either do corned beef or Irish lamb stew. We're going to be doing Irish lamb stew. I don't want to bore you with a bunch of technical talk, so let's just dive into it. You can do this. For this recipe, you're going to need about 2.5 to 3 pounds of lamb. You'll also need 2 onions, about 5 potatoes, carrots, beef stock, flour, this is about 1/4 cup, some salt, some pepper, and some thyme. Let's do the most boring part of this work, which is skinning potatoes. Chop them roughly. Everything here is going to be chopped into big giant chunks. Same with the onions here. Also going to cube up the lamb meat. And then you're going to add it to a large bowl here. We're going to be adding the flour as well as the salt and pepper to this. The reason for this is that it goes into the bottom of the pot and helps to create the roux for the soup, which makes it cloudy later. You're just going to layer everything into the pot. So meat goes in first. Basically try and spread it out as evenly as you can along the bottom of the pot. This is a cast iron Dutch oven, which we'll have to use because it's going into the oven directly. It's not going to be on the stovetop. Next, on top of that will go the onions, then carrots, finally the potatoes. And I'm just going to lay our bouquet of thyme right there on top and then add in the broth. You'll notice that the broth doesn't actually come all the way up to cover the vegetables. It just comes very close, which is okay because all of the vegetables and the meat are going to sort of boil down and cook and then basically just disintegrate into the broth later, making it more of a stew than a soup. You go ahead and set your oven to 325, and it just happened to be exactly 325 in the afternoon when I did this. Weird. Place that into the center of the oven and wait 2.5 hours. Here I'm going to chop up some parsley for garnish. Since all of this goes on film, we need things to look fancy. Alright, 2.5 hours later, you pull it out and get something that looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and pull apart some of the thyme so the leaves stay in there, and then I can just remove the stems. And then you go ahead and give it a good stir. You'll notice something magical here happens. The potatoes will start to come apart and incorporate into the broth, making it even more cloudy and sort of viscous. The same thing happens if you were to use cornstarch for soup. Here you can see the meat is fork tender, cooked all the way through, as well as delicious. Going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, give it a good stir again, and you are ready to go. You end up with this, served with some bread. The pictures on my camera were better than the GoPro images. You can't really get good close-ups of food here. I'll have to try and use a different camera from now on. But as you can see, it looks amazing. Alright everybody, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe and follow me on Instagram or YouTube, where I will hopefully be making several more cooking videos of different dishes. And until next time, enjoy.